Some face.
Could be officially going live. I should be officially live.
It's Streamlabs, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I see you. You're live.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
live, bro.
What's up, guys? Thank you for coming. Real Estate Mastery. This is going to be another incredible class. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. This one specifically, we're going to go over buyer consultations, seller consultations, basically how to perform a consultation. And the way that I'm going to do that is to show you a pre-recorded consultation that I actually did with a customer of mine who I sold the property to. And what I did was, when I was doing this with her over Zoom, I asked her, can I record this? And she gave me permission. So you're going to hear her say things raw, unfiltered, live. You're just going to get her natural responses to stuff as I teach her about how real estate works, how the market works. And you guys can repeat this, do this to your clients. You could tweak it and do it for sellers. It's very easy to switch it up between buyer and seller. And you will just blow your customer's mind, and you'll create tremendous influence. Like this person, even though she didn't buy when we recorded the video, she's buying now. She came back to me 2 years later because she's like, no one has taught me the things you have taught me. So she came back now. Luca, anything you want to say before we do our thing?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks everyone for showing up. I know 7:30 is a tough time for some people. Wink, wink, Andrew. Even though he took he picked the time.
You know what's funny is that when Luca says thanks everyone for showing up, he's talking to me.
I am. Yeah. So yeah, when we first ran this, Andrew. Notice how I use the group we. When Andrew first ran this, this was one of our most well-received episodes, and for good reason. What you're going to see here in this consultation that Andrew does, one, it makes his business more efficient. Two, it makes his business more effective. And three, it's just really, really great to incorporate into your own business. So sit back, grab a drink, grab a smoke, make sure your notepad is out, and yeah, let's kick it off, man.
Yeah, Luca brought up a good point that I want to bring up is that in my brokerage, we did a little bit of kind of like a trial and error thing here, where I trained a few people how to do these things, and I left a few of them alone. And we watched that the customers that we put into these consultations ended up buying properties by showing significantly less properties. We would show 3 to 4 houses on average, and they would make an offer on something. And when they made an offer, it was an offer that would get accepted. They weren't making these feeler offers. They weren't trying to lowball things. They weren't trying to let's let them negotiate. None of that. They did none of those things because when they found a house that they loved, they already knew what to do. They weren't asked to do this for the first time because I already educated them on what's going to happen. So our closing ratio went up way higher. Well, when I say closing, I mean our, closing on the sale, not closing the deal, but getting the customer to sign, get them to make an offer that's going to make sense. And we stopped showing so many houses, and that was like the key thing for me. When I created this consult, my whole goal was, look, I don't want to take out anybody if they don't know what to do. Just like you guys would do anywhere else. If you were gonna fly somewhere, anywhere in the world, and you got on a plane, and a pilot was like, "Hey, I actually never flew a plane before, but don't worry, I'll get us there." How confident are you gonna feel about the trip that you're about to take? I mean, it's logical that you can't expect people who have never done something before to make decisions that are going to make sense, right? So if we teach these customers what to do ahead of time, they can act faster, they're going to make smarter decisions, they're going to avoid mistakes, and you're going to have tremendous success. It's a trickle-down effect that comes down into your business. All right, and without further ado, I want to start playing the video for you. But before I do that, one quick thing, okay? This was the script I used to get people to want to do these consultations. Because I know sometimes you meet a customer, especially like a lead off of Zillow or Realtor.com or wherever you're getting a lead from. If it's a cold lead and you don't have a relationship with them yet, you tell them, hey, would you like to sit for a consultation? And they're not going to receive it. They're going to be like, I don't really want to go consultation. No, I just want to see the property. So what we would do is I would ask them these questions over the phone, and a few times I would ask them in person. It depended on what the personality was. If someone was like real gun-ho on seeing something, I'm going to take them to see it. Because you got to remember, everyone has like a limited amount of attention in a conversation. Like some of their attention is, if someone is fully focused on, hey, I just want to get in this property, this is what I want, I'm not going to try to combat that. I'm not going to be like, well, I'm not going to take you unless you do this, unless you do that. I'm like, okay, no problem, we'll go see this property. And at that property, I would use this script. If I'm talking to the person and their attention is with me and they're not like just so hyper focused on get to the property, then I'll do the script over the phone and try to give them the consultation before I get there. So if you have a pen and paper, you might want to just write this down. Luke, you want to role play with me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Buyer, ring, ring. Call me from Zillow. You want to go see a property, okay?
Yeah. Hello?
Hi, this is Andrew from Remy Realty. How can I help you?
Hi, yeah, I'm calling about 123 Main Street. I'm seeing it here on Zillow. It's the 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Okay. Sure, you want to go take a look?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. You free right now?
Right now? Oh, okay, sure. I can't go right now. Okay, but we can go in an hour. It's 7:30 p.m. I'm already tired. You want to go tomorrow?
No, tomorrow doesn't work for me. How about Friday?
Okay, look,
Friday,
schedule time,
2
okay?
o'clock?
Friday, we're going Friday, 3 o'clock. That work for you?
Yeah, that works.
All right, great. Listen, before you go, I just want to ask you a quick question. Are you a first-time home buyer? Have you ever done this before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So listen, realistically here, what's the price of this house? Is this house like $700,000?
Yeah, about
Okay. How many times in your life have you spent $700,000?
that. Never.
Okay. This is going to be one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
And like what you do here is going to affect your future. So like, for example, like, whatever commitments you make, it's going to affect where you work, what's going to happen to your family, your wife, your budget, your kids, whatever. All of that. So, the reason I'm asking you is because what I'd like to do with you is before we go, maybe tomorrow or tomorrow evening, whatever works, if I can get you and your spouse to just hop on a quick Zoom call with me. It should only take about 25, 30 minutes. And I want to show you guys exactly what people have been paying for houses in this area. What was the area you want to buy in?
Hempstead.
Okay, great. So I'm going to pull up every house that closed in Hempstead for the last 6 months. And I'm going to show you what the asking price was, and then we're going to compare it to the sold price. So you're going to see what the homeowners got, right? And then I want to show you how many days they're on market. We're going to look at the condition. I'm going to show you what happens when you buy with a mortgage, when you buy with a cash, how to write up an offer. I want to go over all of this. This way, while we're out there, if we see properties, I want you to know what to do already. You should know. You should walk into a property and say, hey, okay, this house is overpriced. Or you should walk into a property and be like, okay, this house is actually a really good deal because you saw what the sellers were getting already. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I'm kind of just fumbling around in the dark here a little bit.
Yeah. All right, let's clear it up. Let's shine some light on that. Are you available tomorrow night?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, great. So then you go in for the close. But you see, guys, it's a really simple conversation that, like, you got to highlight these things that a buyer would want, something that they don't really have access to, right? And reversely, if you were going to do something with the seller, usually a seller says, come by, let me know what my house is worth. You can actually just kind of do this whole consultation in front of them, and you don't need to use that kind of script. You could just break it down and open it on up. But at least when a cold lead comes in, if we use a little bit of logic, a little bit of questioning, and asking them things to make them really think like, hey, this is a big decision, okay? Maybe I shouldn't just wing it. So a really simple question that I asked him was, how many times in your life have you spent X amount of dollars? And then just one more time for those who are writing it down, we're going to go through the all the closings for the last 6 months in whatever town they like. You're going to compare the asking price to the sold price. You're going to study the number of days on market. You're going to see the conditions of the property. And you'll explain what happens when you buy with a mortgage, what happens when you buy with cash. and how an offer write-up actually looks like. So what happens when we want to write up an offer? All right, so you bring this information to them. You're already demonstrating value. This person doesn't even know who you are, and you're willing to give them 25 minutes to teach them something that no one's taking the time to do. So right off the bat, you're going to start a great relationship with them. And without further ado, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. Priscilla wants to know, have you ever had anyone say no?
Yeah.
And if so, why?
Yeah, sure. I
thought about doing it to throw you for a loop.
I'll be honest with you. I've had a very small amount say no, very small. And the ones that say no, goodbye. I have no interest, like I said before, in driving around showing them house to house to house to house to house. There were a few times where like I questioned the customer a little bit, and I see they have a good strong down payment and they're motivated, but maybe they really just couldn't do it at that point. So I said, okay, fine. So I still met with them in person, and then I asked again in person. Same script, same lines. Like, guys, I know I mentioned this before over the phone, but this is a serious question. Have you ever spent $800,000 before in your life? Do you know how to do this? Do you know what your monthly payment's going to be? Right? I just keep asking. I'll ask again. If I ask the one time over the phone and they want to move and they want to see the property, they're just hell bent on seeing the properties, take them. And then if I ask them again in person, and in person they're like, you know what? No, I don't care what other people were getting for the property. That's probably someone I really don't want to spend time with. I mean, to me, honestly, that's probably someone who's not motivated. But you have to use your best judgment. I will say that a good 85 to 90% of the people who I ask these questions to, they want the information. Most people want to know what they're doing, so they don't want to get scammed. Right? They don't want to feel like that they're going to be taken advantage of. And if you teach them what to do, they're not going to feel that way anymore. Any other questions pop up?
Nope, I think we're good to continue.
All right, so without further ado, let me pull up this. What do you mean? Of course it's me. Why do I need to put that in here?
What's they asking?
That's that stupid OneDrive thing that just keeps popping up. Okay, so. All right, guys. Welcome. This is Danielle and Sean. They were first-time home buyers. They were basically, here, I'm just going to play through so you guys can see. But I'm going to do a little skipping and pausing and commenting on stuff. They had no idea what they were doing before we did this consultation. So they're brand new to real estate. Thank you for coming.
Meh.
Okay, let's see right here. Maybe where
Away
we
from the
start.
microphones.
Fly a plane without taking lessons on how to fly. Like, or imagine trying to drive without having driving lessons. It's just the same thing. Like, how can someone expect you to buy a house without knowing what to do? So
Very true.
that's the goal here. Okay, and I also have Chloe with me. So if you see my dog jump up into my face at some point, just
Chloe.
so. All right, so I'm going to do a screen share, and first thing I'm going to do is log into the MLS. Do you guys know what the MLS is?
No.
Does somebody have their microphone on in the classes channel? Please mute it.
And I also have Chloe with me, so if you see my dog jump up.
Thanks, guys. So, really quick, I've just paused it on the screen where I'm logging into MLS. Keep in mind that MLS is a term that not everyone understands, and you don't want to have this consultation start with them being confused. Just explain what it is. You just say MLS stands for the Multiple Listing Service. This is the database of all the properties on the market, and banks, realtors, and appraisers use this database to determine what's sold, what's on market, what's available, and all that. If they understand what it is, we don't want to start them off with confusions.
MLS stands for Multiple Listing Service. It's the tool that realtors, banks, appraisers use. Everybody uses this to determine property value, to find past sales, to find what's on market. It's the database that you pay for with a real estate licensing you can get access to.
Okay.
So we're going to pull our information straight from there.
Let me just turn these away from the microphone so we don't get feedback.
Okay. So what town did you guys want to buy a house in?
I mean, I would love to stay in Levittown, but the market is insane right now. Like, there's houses around here going for $600, but they're complete, like, knockdowns.
Okay.
So, I mean, I was looking in Farmingdale, Massapequa, I'd like to say in like close areas like that. Apparently, like, obviously good school district with Jackson. So
So you think Levittown, Farmingdale, Massapequa are the 3 towns you like the most?
yeah,
I mean, anywhere in that general vicinity.
Bethpage,
Yeah.
yeah, Bethpage.
Plainview?
Meh.
Good. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to go to search and we're going to pull up unavailable sales because the reason is we're going to look at what closed, what did not close, right? And we're only looking for single family houses, no co-ops, condos, anything like that, right?
I mean, I would even look at a townhome if they're available.
I think they'll show up here if they are, but
Okay.
let's see what we got. So first we're going to type in Beth Page. My computer's lagging a little. Levittown, Farmingdale.
Now, do only like real estate agents have access to MLS or like?
There's a user side, which I'll point you to at some point. It doesn't give
Okay.
you as much information as we get, but I'll show you how to use it anyway.
Okay.
What was the 4th town? Massapequa, right?
Yeah, Massapequa Park.
All right, I'm going to jump up a little bit just so we get to the comps.
Yeah. I really wouldn't want to go over like 4.
All right, so here I'm asking her what's her budget, and the reason for that is I only want to pull up properties that are relevant to, obviously what she wants to see.
All right.
So you'll see me put in the criteria.
Possible. I know that's not
Well,
speaking
what-
realistically with the market, but
Let's take a look. If I put in the maximum purchase price of $400,000, and all I want to do is I'm going to change the list date here to make it within the last 6 months. I want to make it so that the only information that's coming to you is relevant.
okay.
Okay, it's going so slow.
Yeah, it's probably our Wi-Fi.
Okay, so it's going to be listings that were only in the last 6 months. So in all these towns, we have 21 houses that were sold for $400,000 or less.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just check something out. If we take the price off, there were 705 sales that took place in this last 6 months.
That's like
21 of them meet the 400,000 criteria.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the first thing you guys should learn from that is you had 21 divided by 705. There's a 0.02. There's a 2% chance
That's what I said. 3%.
the house you're looking for was sold in the last 6 months. Right?
Excellent.
So yeah, that's the point of this is to kind of highlight it, right? So you can get the data, right? So
So you guys understand what I did there? Any questions about that? Basically, I put in their criteria, and I knew before I even pulled it up that their criteria was going to be tight. So I'm like, all right, look, I'll show them. I'm not going to claim that, hey, I can't get you a house for this price. I'm just going to be like, let's take a look. So there was 705 sales in those towns in the last 6 months, but only 21 of them matched what they wanted at that price point. Right off the bat, I'm not saying you're wrong for thinking that. I just said, here's the statistics. And they just go, oh, all right, well, you're not trying to basically make them think like, oh, I'm not going to try for them, but they got to realize that there's a 2% chance that what they're looking for is available. Does that make sense? Any questions about that, Luca?
No, it doesn't. We have a comment, though. One of the subtle things I love about this is the speed and ease which he uses the MLS, subtly establishing him as an expert. And I'll tack on to that. This ties back into, I believe it was session 2, where, we assume people know what things like the MLS are, right?
Right.
And we miss an opportunity to not only educate our clients so that they become more knowledgeable of the process, but we also establish our authority while doing it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And this isn't just like, if you were talking to them face to face and not having the MLS open here, this is great for visual learners too.
Absolutely. And what I was going to say is when you do this, you become the ultimate authority to the person that you're teaching it to, because you're an experienced realtor using a tool that they don't have access to. It's exclusive. They see you moving around it quickly. You're showing them, stats and formulas and numbers. And it's like, you look like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? That means that you know who's not the expert anymore? Zillow. Zillow is not the expert anymore. Realtor.com is not the expert anymore. No, their agent is the expert now. And you create tremendous influence by doing this. So I'm actually glad someone brought that up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. What's a purchase price? A monthly payment that you feel comfortable with?
We haven't really like talked about that, but
Because that's what matters more than the purchase price. It's the monthly payment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
You pay
say.
$1 million, but if I said that $1 million is only going to cost you $2,000 a month, would you care?
I'd be paying that from 107.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's $2,000 a month.
Yeah, we'll be paying it. Well, Jackson will be paying it because we'll be dead.
You could just stop paying.
Well, I mean, I would say no more than like 2,500, right?
No, I'd say like 35.
35 for a
Yeah,
mortgage.
it's pretty realistic with 35 too, because you got to count property taxes.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right, so let's see. We'll go to mortgagecalculator.org. You can guys go to this website anytime, mortgagecalculator.org, so you get a basic idea.
Okay.
So let's see if we find a house that's around 500,000. And what kind of down payment do you guys have? How much money do you have saved?
Looking at about maybe 20 right now.
$20,000. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do interest rate. I think you can get somewhere around 2.75. I'm just going to ballpark that.
Ah, those days were so good.
Property
Can't do that,
taxes in
man.
Long Island are generally $1,000 a month. Could be a little more. So it's just going to say $13,000 for the year.
Okay.
You're probably going to have PMI when you have this little bit down payment. So I'm going to leave that. And then homeowners insurance, $1,200. And make sure this says buy at the bottom. So I hit calculate.
Now, what I should have done immediately is explain what PMI is, because again, I don't want to leave them misunderstanding something. I think I actually might explain it at some point. PMI stands for Private Mortgage Insurance, and the reason it's there is to ensure the down payment when it's less than 20%, so that if you get foreclosed on, that 20% missing payment is going to be covered by an insurance company. Okay, so basically, like, you want to make sure your customers know what that is. Don't leave them misunderstanding something.
So if you guys bought a house that was $500,000 with 20% down, you're looking at a monthly payment with PMI included around $3,342 a month.
Okay.
Okay. Now, remember, this is a rough estimate. When you speak to a loan officer, they're going to give you exact numbers to begin with, because I'm estimating the PMI, right? I'm estimating the property taxes. It's all going to change when we actually find the place. But the point of teaching you this is to give you an idea, like, look, this is where we're going to land as far as monthly payment, so that you have a realistic expectation of what you spend.
Okay.
So there's something else I want to teach you as well. Let's say we take the same scenario and we're in a bidding war, and we gotta pay more, and it sucks because bidding wars are just a commonplace right now. It is what it is. And now the offer went from 500,000 went to 510. Okay, so we went up 10 grand. So here's the monthly payment at 500,000, 3,342. Now I'm going to do it 10 grand higher. So it went to 3,387. So 3,387 minus 3,342. So based on that calculation, there was a $45 increase in your monthly payment, including PMI, including the lower down payment, right? So the reason I'm showing you that is if you find yourself in a situation where you're like, okay, I can't go over 500, I can't go over 500, but you're in this bidding war with someone else, and if I'm telling you, oh look, 510, I think we're going to get the deal at 510, it changed the monthly payment by $45. So I want you to know, because sometimes people see the $10,000 and they think, oh my God, I'm spending another $10,000. No, but you're just promising another $45 a month, which makes
was
it
a little mind blowing.
way more affordable, right?
Yeah.
So did you guys hear what he said? He said that was a little mind-blowing. Right? So I just gave him the confidence to know that he can bid up, he can increase his offer, and it's not going to make it so that he can't afford the home. Most home buyers, first-time home buyers especially, when they hear $10,000, they're like, I got to spend $10,000, but they're not. All they're doing is promising a certain amount a month in a monthly payment. Now, respectively, since the rates have risen, it's not going to be $45 anymore. If you guys were to use a calculator now and you did it with a 6% interest rate, it's probably something like 10 grand's probably something like $65 or $70. Usually, if it's $10,000 and interest rate 7, it should be $70, right? So it should be, whatever the interest rate is. You just got to find out what it is. But it's not 45 anymore. It's not that low. And also because the reason why this went up 45 instead of 2750 is because the PMI is in there. So you got to keep that in mind. But to hear your buyer say something like, I didn't know that, that blew my mind right there. Now all of a sudden, Sean just became a lot more confident about making an offer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No questions?
No, some comments though. Chelsea says, this is much better than how I've been doing it. More focus on availability and pricing. I always spend so much time focusing on the actual steps.
I'm going to get into that too, and that's important. I don't want you to feel like that's useless. But teaching them this part will give them the confidence to make decisions later. And that's what we want. We want them to see a house they want, and I don't want them to freeze like a deer in headlights. I want them to see a house they want, and they'll be like, okay, this should be roughly $3,300 a month. I can afford that. Go. Make an offer. Write it up. Right? That's what we're looking for here. And then the only way they're going to do that is to teach them in the beginning.
Yeah. Right. So I'm teaching you this because I don't want you to be scared of anything big.
Yes.
Yeah, actually.
1,000%. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you ever find out any information on the NACA mortgage?
She's asking me about grants.
Little scenarios of what
The $20,000 down payment.
So let's get into some comps.
only $500. The speed at which you can save.
Oh, this is a good point.
I'm gonna wait to buy, so payment is the main focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said the monthly
And
payment is the
if
main
you're-
focus.
If you find yourself in a scenario where you're saying to yourself, I'm gonna wait to buy so I can save more of a down payment, but then market value is surpassing the speed at which you can save, you're losing, right? Because
Yeah.
property value prices are going up really fast, and you can't save fast enough to really affect the monthly payment. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So it would make more sense for you to jump in, get started, and just worry about, can I afford this payment, than it would for you to start saving lump sums. In fact, you could always send a lump sum payment down to your mortgage. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you send a 13th or 14th payment, so every year you send 12 payments, because one a month,
Yeah.
and a 13th or 14th payment a year, you cut the 13th payment cuts 7 years off the mortgage. The 14th payment cuts like 12 years off the mortgage, and you
Wow.
pay it down super, super fast by sending 2 extra payments a year.
That's mind blowing
That's
to me.
crazy.
And
It applies
Yeah.
to principal, and you have to.
If you guys didn't know that, if you make principal payments towards your mortgage, you will pay it down dramatically faster. You don't have to have the 30-year term. If you guys ever close a deal and you got an extra 10 grand lying around, take that 10 grand, pay it to your principal, and use your house like a piggy bank, and you're going to see that, oh wow, my mortgage terms have dropped significantly. Obviously it depends on what your monthly payment is, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you can just pay it down fast, and you guys can run that by any loan officer you want. They'll explain it in a little better detail than I am.
To write on it to principal only, right?
Yeah.
So there's other strategies to make home ownership affordable for you, and this is the point of the consultation, right? To answer all these questions and show you the information that you guys know now going forward. All right, so we basically learned that purchase price is, the monthly payment is really more important than the purchase price. And based on the 400,000 expectation, you had a 2% chance of finding that house in the last 6 months, which is really low, right? So
Yeah.
let's change this number to like 525, right? Which is just making up a number now, right? Not that I'm saying. But look how many houses sold in the last 6 months for 525 or less. Right? Now your chances are much higher. We had 704 705 was the total, right? Let me move this. Yeah, 705. So 274 divided by 705. You have a 40, almost a 40% chance to find the home.
Yeah, that's a lot better odds. I like that.
Way better. You see what I'm saying? So
You see what I just did there, guys? These people thought they could only afford $400,000, and within the first 20, 30 minutes of this consultation, I just moved them up 125 grand in their budget. The guy said he wanted to be $3,500 a month. I showed him that at 510, he was still under $3,500 a month. So I literally just moved them up to 525. You imagine you could do that to your buyer? They're literally out there and they're like, hey, I can only afford this much. And you're like, no, you're not, buddy. Watch. You could afford a lot more than that. How's that? Anybody understand? Any questions, comments? Everyone okay with that? You get what I'm saying?
Makes perfect sense.
All right, cool.
So you guys get a good understanding of what's going on in your market. So now, what kind of house do you guys like? You want to need 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms? What do we do?
I would do like 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms,
Okay.
preferably a
Wait,
basement.
question. If you had to add a bathroom, would you be open to doing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to make one bathroom the minimum.
Okay.
Because then if you're open to adding it, I don't want to weed out all the ones that didn't have.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so 3 bedroom, 1 bath. Any other things that are absolute must-haves? What's an absolute must-have?
I mean, I would typically love a basement. I know Levittown doesn't have basements, but
Is it a must-have?
Farmingdale, Bethpage, it's not a must-have.
There's really no must-have.
Okay, fine. That's good.
Just a roof and some bedrooms.
Some people are like, I absolutely will not take a house without a basement. So I don't want to pull anything up that you don't want to buy, and at the same time,
Yeah, no.
I don't want to block things that you would buy. So
Yeah, that's fine.
no must-haves. Okay. So let's say the property taxes have to be somewhere in the ballpark of $14,000, right, or
Okay.
less. Now is 211. Okay, let's update this mortgage calculator with new numbers so you just get an idea too. So let's say it was 525,000,
Mm.
and the new property tax 14.
And could we do a down payment of 30 and see what that shows?
Yep. Calculate. $3,493.71 with the PMI. Now, you guys can get rid of PMI after 6 months by refinancing, but you'd also kind of wipe out all the payments you made. So you want to figure out what you want to do. It might.
So you guys got to keep in mind that at the time I did this consultation, property values were rising tremendously fast. So that's why when I say you could refinance in 6 months, that's because we were experiencing the ridiculous climb in property value. And at that point, you could always, if you guys don't know this, if you have a house that has PMI, you can hire an appraisal, 3 to 6 months down the road. I think 6 months is the minimum, but you could get an appraisal and you can do a new appraisal on the property. If the property appreciated enough that all of a sudden there's a 20% difference in the, 20% down payment is there, then they'll take the PMI off early and you don't have to pay the full term of PMI. So at that time, it made sense to say 6 months, you're probably not going to pay it anymore because properties are appreciating really fast. So just be mindful when you say that. You can tell the homeowner, though, by the way, in 6 months, if your property value has gone up, order an appraisal because if it's gone up enough, you might have to stop paying PMI and you would save this $206 a month. Make sense?
Yes, sir. And it's nice seeing how they're becoming a little more comfortable, more engaged. Now she wants to play around with it. You can tell they're a little excited.
Yeah.
It's almost like new doors are opening in her mind.
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean when we started, she had $20,000. Now all of a sudden she's got $30,000. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It might be worth it. It might be worth it to get rid of the PMI because watch, when I take the PMI off, it's going to change things. And I don't know if PMI is going to be a 0.5%, but when I take it off, you see how it dropped a lot?
Wow.
How much?
That's insane.
You see what I'm saying? It drops a lot when you take PMI off. So,
What did that come up to like what was it before? That was like $200, right?
Yeah.
Way more than that?
Yeah. Your PMI payment right here, 77 payments of 206.
Yeah, it's over $200.
Right. So if you get a refi after 6 months, you might be
Refi
able
was
to
the
get
wrong
the
thing to say.
PMI off.
Get an
The reason
appraisal.
is like property value went up. That went up over 6 months. The property value went up. You've made payments already.
All right, moving on. Get an appraisal, not a refi. I want to get to the comps. Here we go.
You're gonna click it. Thank you. I wonder why my one. So let's look. So here is the cheapest house that sold in Levittown in the last 6 months. Right off the bat, there's only one picture, so that's not a great sign.
Not a good sign. I think that house was actually knocked down, to be honest with you.
All right, good. So it's a 60 by 100 lot, 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths. Taxes are a little under 14.
Yes, Island Tree School District.
Great opportunity, 4-year-old roof, boiler, above ground oil tank. So they asked for $377, original list price $377. They got went under contract price $377, and then they sold at $393. So they actually went higher under contract. I don't know why that happened. That could just be an error with someone inputting the information in the listing.
Okay.
But
probably
that
a
doesn't
typo.
make a lot of sense. Maybe they probably went under contract with $393 because they probably ended up in a bidding war. Right off the bat, it's telling you that they used cash. And DOM means days on market. It says 2 days. 2 days on market before they're in a bidding war. So they probably put it on market. They got a whole bunch of people fighting over it immediately. And I think they accepted this higher offer. And they probably typed something in wrong over here. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't go higher under contract. So let's move on. Here's the next cheapest, $368. Property taxes are less than 10. It's got a bigger lot, but again, just one picture.
Yeah.
Come see this affordable Levitt Ranch on a huge property. Perfect for 203K or construction loans. So right off the bat, it definitely needs some work here. It says here, in the agent-only remarks, it says 203K rehab loans or cash buyers only. So it won't qualify for a regular mortgage because it probably needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
All right, so asking price right here is $379. They went under contract at $368, sold at $368. 48 days on market. So let me highlight something to you as well. Let's say a house goes on market, all right, and that whole days on market thing. You and I are going to go out. Let's say we shop around. We're looking at houses. You find something you really like. Okay. From that moment, we're going to write up an offer. And when we write up an offer, I'll show you at a later point. We're going to, use a piece of paper. We're going to just write things down. It's non-binding. Nothing locks you into a deal. It's literally just a written offer. And it says on the paper, which I will show you when we get to it, that there's an attorney clause, which means your attorney has to review everything and you can back out at any time. Also, it's customary here in Long Island specifically, and New York in general, I've seen pretty much in other places too, where the seller will not sign the document, only you. Okay, and then the seller will be open to any offers that come in the meantime, because they're not officially locked under contract with you until you sit down with your attorney, write a check with a deposit, and sign a formal contract. Formal contract would be like a 12-page, 13-page agreement, which your attorney would review with you before you sign it. Anything that you do with me or any other realtor is non-binding for the most part. When it comes to making offers, it's all open, and you can back out of it at any point. So can the seller. All right, because only an attorney can bind you guys, is basically what I'm getting. So let's say you find a property, you write up an offer, and they say, yes, we'll accept it. Now, a couple of things are going to happen. First,
so basically from here, I start explaining the steps of what's going to happen once we write up an offer, what it's going to be like. And I actually pull up an offer at one point, and I show it to them, show them how to write it up. And I'm going to skip all that because you guys know what to do. But I just wanted to make sure that you include it in your consultation here. Let them know what they're going to be walking into. Make sure they know what to expect.
Yeah, and a common denominator, I think, I see for a lot of the things you explain, and I see this throughout my life too, is the acronyms. We're so used to acronyms in this business, right? We just brush right by them.
Yes.
But you take the time to slow down, explain, and you can see that they're engaged. Even my man over here who's leaning back in the couch.
It's funny because a lot of guys tell me from the Discord that when I explain something to them, they seem to understand it better than when someone else tries to teach them the same topic. And the reason I'm telling you that's happening is because I don't move past something that I know is not familiar. You understand? So for them, I know they don't know what DOM means, so I have to break it down and explain it. Right? And I don't move past anything without them knowing exactly what it is. It takes an extra second. But if you're mindful of what the customer knows and doesn't know, you will land way more influence. I promise. People will just be like, this guy is the guy. Or this girl is the girl.
And the thing to understand, like, why is the idiom "there's no stupid questions" even a thing? Because people are afraid. It's our own ego. They're afraid to ask questions, especially if someone's talking to them and using these words and these acronyms and these turns of phrases like it's commonplace, which we do because it is commonplace for us. They might not pipe up and say, oh, "What does DOM mean?" Right? And then that seed gets planted, and then 30 days later, your deal's falling apart because you didn't go over something like small and minor and take the second.
That's 100% correct, and that's exactly what happens. It literally, you go through it. If you don't explain something, and then you come to a point where a decision is required, and then you're going to encounter a roadblock. There's going to be something that stops that motion. It's going to be because they didn't understand something. And now, picture this. If you layer your consultation so that the info in the beginning builds on top of what you said toward the end, and they need to know things in a certain order, and then you skip over something that's required to be known so that you can explain the next thing later, that's it. You've actually ended the consultation at that unknown word. Because they won't be able to follow the rest going forward. Even if they say things like, no, I got it, I think I'm good. And then you'll find out later that they couldn't do something. They couldn't make a decision. They're not comfortable. They don't understand. And it's all because you went past something that could very easily be avoided just by breaking it down. So trust me, guys, it works. This is the reason why people think I'm so good at communication. I don't move past things that people don't understand. And that's also why I keep stopping and saying, hit me with questions. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you got. If there's something that's confusing, please let me know.
Yeah, Chelsea had an aha moment in chat here. She says, you're making their reality the same as yours. Boom, class 1 makes sense.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Good job, Chelsea.
So ask questions, guys.
Yes.
The one that was on Jerusalem Avenue. I love that. I think it was put on for like $399.9.
All right.
It has like the best backyard ever. It's garage was painted like a boat. The inside's beautiful.
Yeah, it actually has pictures. I'm happy. The others didn't have any pictures.
Just wait till you hit the backyard. It's great. They had like the shed painted in like it was like waves and stuff.
Yep, right there.
Oh yes.
All right, so they asked for $399 and they got $445
Holy
Wow.
crap.
with a conventional mortgage. Okay, and it says 25 days, but again, you might want to take away 10 days from that. It was really within the 15 days, so really like in the first 2 weeks, they were in a bidding war. Multiple offers were coming in,
That's crazy.
and then they accepted an offer almost 50 grand over the ask price.
So the reason I said take away 10 days from that number is because in the section that I skipped over, I had explained to them the steps of what happens after we make an offer and from making an offer to getting the contract. I know this is going to vary from state to state. I know that in New Jersey, they do the opposite of what we do in New York, and I've done many deals in New Jersey, so I know that because I've lived it and experienced it. So here in New York, the way it would work is we would make an offer, write up something, and if it gets accepted, we'd have to do our home inspection and then sign the contract in that order. It would be accepted offer, home inspection, contract signing. But the problem is that the seller is still free to accept other offers, and in some cases, they do. So you are under pressure, and it's like crunch time. You have to rush to get that home inspection, make sure you're okay with it, and then sign the contract. Because at certain times in the market, someone will come in and outbid you, and you were trying to get your home inspection done. Now in New Jersey, they did it the other way around. They basically make an offer, they sign it, and then they lock into each other first. Then they do their home inspection, and then they have the option to cancel the contract on either side. Seller or buyer can cancel the contract if they don't agree to things. and then they can go back on the market. But it's a little more fair to the buyer that way, letting them do their home inspection while they're locked under contract. Here in New York, it's not done that way. So I explained to them, when they see 25 days on market, they got to keep in mind that someone has an accepted offer. They got to schedule a home inspection, wait for the inspector to get there, do the inspection, wait for the inspection report to come back. Attorneys are drafting contracts. They're going back and forth trying to, come on terms and agree on things. Buyers got to go in and sign and leave a check. They got to overnight it back to the other person, and then the seller's got to sign. So let's assume each one of those steps took 1 day. We got 10 things to get done before they actually lock into each other. So I tell them, hey, you want to play it safe? Expect that this house moved even faster than what it says here. I hope that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah, 100%, man. And at the time when you were recording this, it was probably quicker.
Oh, yeah, it was nice. Crazy fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like an insanely busy road over there, too.
Yeah. Let's check out this next one. Clay Lane.
I want to move up to a little bit.
657.
Here, I do move up to a part where I'm verifying taxes for them. I'm showing them resources like...
Search right now. On here, it's not giving me the section, block, and lot. Let me see if I can find the section block.
The reason why I'm verifying the taxes is because when I see an even number like this, 7,333 and no change, I know that's an estimated number. Especially when I see a number like 7,000 taxes or just 8,000 taxes. That's not the actual tax amount, which is a big no-no for MLS. You should be putting exactly to the penny the tax amount, because God forbid their DTI happens to be just squeaking by. If for those who don't know what DTI means, it means debt to income ratio. And when you qualify for a mortgage, you're only allowed to have a certain amount of debt in ratio to the income you bring in. So some people might be squeaking by. You don't know how much debt they have. You don't know what's on their credit report. You don't know what's going on. And when they put in the criteria for the purchase, that we agreed to this much, this kind of purchase price, house has this many taxes, there's this HOA fee or that or whatever, those numbers need to be 100% accurate. If they're not accurate, then you might have your person end up being disqualified, and that could be from information that was entered incorrectly into the MLS, which could get you fined big time. You can get sued. So you just want to avoid that. And one of the things I'm doing right now is showing them another website where they can look up the tax value on properties to verify things, which I end up doing for them anyway.
I'm curious to see how much that house sold for.
I'm just going to use the address. 39 Clay Lane.
I think it's on the other side.
39 Clay,
Okay.
and it's Levittown,
I will look through.
and I am not a robot. Okay, so this is straight from the government's website now. General and school taxes. We got school tax of total school tax right here. 5,714. So I'm already concerned. 5,714 plus general taxes. Total general taxes 2,657. 2,657.
See, like it's already over that. That's like the big thing. That just I don't know
Not
that.
that much.
No, but still, but it's like they're telling you taxes are 7,300, and it look,
It was off on the listing.
yeah.
Okay? It was off.
Yeah.
And this is what the government website said.
Big no-no, guys. Just be careful. Don't do that.
Now, let me see something. This could be verified. This is the 2021 taxes. Let's look at 2020 taxes. Because sometimes, like, I'll say to my homeowner, give me a statement. Give me a tax statement.
I'm going to move up.
This was the taxes for this year. 8,371.
So basically now I'm calculating, I say to them, let's see what this house would have cost you if you had won it. And I take the true taxes with the price that was accepted.
8,371. PMI included. Calculate. Because that would have been 2,574 a month.
Not horrible.
No.
No, right? But the longer you wait, the higher the purchase price goes, right? So
Yeah. See, that number is not as terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Let's check out Levittown. What's the next one? I'm gonna move up a little bit because we look at the lower end. Let's go look.
Yeah.
Look at the upper end. All right, let's get to the top of the budget.
What about that? Well, never mind. Which one's that one?
We're gonna go through a bunch, so don't worry. This is top of the budget, right? So this was $499. You can see it's much bigger.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that Levittown fireplace in the middle thing? Because there's a lot of them like this.
Yeah, that's like the original Levitt. Like, I'm not a huge fan of it, but a lot of like the way it looks updated, it's kind of nice.
Sure. Yeah. Not bad. Nice clean house, fully renovated. Property taxes are less than 10. Okay, 64 by 100 lot. It's nice and big. Here it says seller requires masks, updated pre-approvals, signed COVID disclosures. There's this disclosure form going around right now saying that it with this five.
Moving on.
Look at this.
Oh, I love those floors.
Before you move on, there,
540.
Andrew, there was something very important that she said.
What?
That number is a lot less terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Right? And that really belays that whatever numbers they were looking at before they went into the consultation with you, there was some fear, trepidation, anxiety, whatever it may be, that was present in their mind. And that's exactly the type of seed that could blossom into a deal falling apart
Right.
if you hadn't taken the time to go over this with her.
So what I do here is now, basically I'm going to generate a list of what is on market, and I email that to them so they can take their time and go through it at their own pace. I'm not interested in sitting there while they're going through it. Like they can pick out what the ones they like. But what I want to do is, because we're down to the last 8 minutes here, I just want to get to the end so you can hear her own realizations.
$30 difference in monthly payment.
Okay.
Good?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do we learn?
A lot. like this. My head's gonna explode.
Good. Do you feel more confident about it?
Yeah.
I do, because I was just getting worried that it would never be like something we can do. I mean, I'm still in the same apartment. Like, I live in Levittown. We're just saving what we can because what we pay in rent is not something we're going to pay in a mortgage. So the more that we could put aside, the more that we could put down. So it kind of gives us a clearer vision on what we can afford, where we can afford.
Well, we also learned how the down payment affects the monthly payment, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So sometimes I would argue and say, look, if you got a need for it, you need for space now, you need for privacy, your own place, anything like that, if that's on the table,
Yeah.
then whatever you're going to save, let's say you saved an extra 10 grand, it made a small difference in what you end up paying,
Yeah.
right? Now, that doesn't mean that you don't need the money, obviously. Saving 10 grand is awesome because when you own a house, you got to start fixing stuff. It's just part of being a homeowner. So
Yeah.
you got to decide what's best for you. But at least you know that the monthly payment, which is the most important focus of where you got to keep your eyes on,
Yeah.
actually not too bad, right?
Yeah. 1,000% was everything all right? Oh, he's got to go help the landlord.
No, it's all right. Listen, I appreciate you coming.
All right, well, there is a point in the video where she starts going off on all her realizations, but obviously don't want to bore you guys while I search through that. But if you guys like what you saw here, the goal is to just basically make it so that the customer is confident, they know what they're doing, they're not guessing. You show them comps, and they'll realize things on their own. She realized, like, there was a point in the video, which if anyone wants this, I could share this for you if you want to watch it. I'll give this one out. But there's a point in the video where she'll say something like, "Oh, I have to bid 30 to 40,000 above what they're asking," because that's what made sense at that time. Now I know if I bring them back into that consultation now, they would see a different picture, but she would know how much to offer and what she would have to offer to get it accepted. And that's the goal. I'm not coming into this scenario and saying, hey, you need to offer more money without backing up what I'm doing. In fact, I'm letting them draw the conclusion themselves so that they think, oh, I need to offer more money. Make sense?
Perfect sense, brother.
All right, guys, if you have any questions for me, hit me with it because we got 5 minutes left. Unless, you want to wrap it up here, just let me know if anyone has anything they want to talk about.
Well, while we wait for any questions to come in, I just want to say thank you again, Andrew. I know, hey, I know this one you were flagging a little bit before, but you came gunned, armed, ready to go. Again, I think this is one of the most powerful sessions out of all 6 because it starts connecting all the dots that we laid out in the previous one. So I want to recommend to anybody listening, make sure you're following Andrew on his Instagram at Andrew_Ragusa. And I'll also announce here, guys, so we have our mastermind tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. and Ryan Foreman, whose face you see on screen now, he changed his profile picture. It's a childhood one.
Yep.
He started an Instagram. I haven't even promoted it on ActuallyAgents yet, but all the highlights from these classes and the masterminds, they're getting posted to that Instagram as clips, and that's at Real Estate Discord. So pop it a follow, and as always, if you screenshot and post on Instagram and tag me and tag that the Real Estate Discord page, I will be sure to repost it, and we'll get you some press.
Hey guys, I just also want to put out there that I am personally looking to surround myself with a few realtors. Whoever wants to join, it's free, it's open to anybody. But I want to start practicing my objection handles and my lead gen stuff. So in addition to what we're doing here, I'm going to be doing a Zoom call once a week for an hour, strictly talking about lead gen and objections. Not to take away from the mastermind. Like the mastermind's like completely open forum and anything goes. We can talk about whatever you want. This is like power hour, just talking about, hey, customer said this to me. How would you guys handle it? Or, hey, this is how I'm finding listings. That's the only thing I want to cover. It's the only thing I want to talk about because I want to spend that time just sharpening what I'm doing. The market's getting tough, man. We all got to double down and we all got to get better at selling. So whatever's effective and whatever's working, hop on a Zoom call with me. It's 1 hour a week. I think we're going to do it like Tuesday at 12. And let's just practice those specific things. Don't bring me other problems. Don't bring me anything else like that. We're going to handle objections and say what's working and what's not working.
Love it. Love it. Where should they reach out to you, Andrew?
You know what? If you actually just send me a DM on Instagram or on Discord or whatever, I'll throw together a Zoom link and I'll share it with you.
Awesome. So that is the proposed time for that, guys, is Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
12 p.m. Eastern. So hit up Andrew if you're interested in joining that. I would recommend it. I told Andrew earlier today or earlier yesterday that just when he says stuff, it clicks with me. It just clicks. So I would highly recommend attending that if you can.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. No problem, bro. And
what's up, Chelsea?
Chelsea.
We might have a question before we wrap it up. See if she's got a question. Or maybe she just came to say hi.
Gotta unmute your mic, Chels, if you're in the Discord call and you have a question. She just came to say hi. Oh, right. John, you say hi. John, you got
Yeah, she put in mastermind. Don't have a question. Can't find my AirPods.
All good. All right.
Just
guys,
saying that.
Thank you very much for coming. I'm going to end the stream. If you guys want to chat a little bit, I'll be in the classes channel for a little bit.
Like, sub, follow.